Chapter of Romans, Paul tells us that the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness. He tells us that the men are filled with all manners of wickedness and corruption. Then he lists some sins, and coveting is one of the top. Achan, the man who brought judgment upon Joshua's army, committed this sin. The Lord told Joshua to destroy the walls and to take all of the riches, the gold, the silver, and put it aside. This was God's commandment to Joshua, to put all the gold, silver aside for him. This was his treasure. Achan saw the gold and saw the riches, and he coveted it, and he took it. Then he tried to hide what he did. And the outcome in Joshua 7, verse 25 wasn't pleasant. It said they stoned him, and then stoned all the other ones, and then burned them all. Achan saw, he coveted, he took, and he hid. First there's desire, then action, then deception. The story of David and Bathsheba is the same. He saw her, he wanted her, he sent for her, and then he hid her. Our passage today comes from the Ten Commandments. It says in Exodus 20, verse 17, "You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male servant, or his female servant, or his ox, or his donkey, or anything that is your neighbor's." The Hebrew word for covet is used throughout the Old Testament in both positive and negative lights. In a positive light, the word simply means a strong desire, a delight, something that's precious. Used in a negative light, the word means an excessive desire for something that you do not have. And this is the definition that this passage in the Ten Commandments uses. The desire to covet is rooted in the ungrateful heart. It is something that grasps us, that takes us, and ultimately leads to our destruction. This commandment is the last of the 10, but I believe it is the anchor of all of the other ones. The previous 9 are all outward actions. They're observed, something that we can see. But this final commandment is inside. It strikes at the heart, strikes at the mind and the soul. Paul reflects on this in Romans 7. He says, "What shall we say then? Is the law sin? Certainly not. Indeed, I would not have known what sin was except through the law. For I would have not known what coveting really was if the law had not said, 'Do not covet.' But sin, seizing the opportunity afforded by the commandment, produced in me every kind of covetous desire." Until Paul hit the 10th commandment, he could judge himself good by overt actions. But as soon as he read the 10th commandment, he realized how much of a sinner he really was. So often we set our eyes on stuff that doesn't matter. We think that if we only had a nicer car, or a nicer house, or a better spouse, better girlfriend, more money, we would be happy. And for me, I fall into this trap all the time. But when I covet, I'm attempting to improve upon God. When I covet, I believe that God has treated me unfairly, that I deserve more. I doubt him, I doubt his wisdom, his goodness, his judgment, his timing, and ultimately his love for me. Those who covet are saying, "God, you haven't taken care of me." They're blaming God for his apparent failure to meet their needs. But here's the truth that I want to tell you guys this morning. We already have everything that we need. We have Jesus. He is our provider and he is our sustainer. Philippians 4:19 through 20 says, "And my God shall supply all your needs according to his riches in glory by Christ Jesus." Jesus is the one through whom God's marvelous promise for the Philippians will be fulfilled. And it's through Jesus that God's provision for us will be fulfilled. We must trust that Jesus will provide for us, that he will meet our needs. And I just want to leave you with this. Covet Jesus. Yearn for him, desire for him and his will, and delight in him. Thank you.